It began with 3 pillars, the foundation for UW Esports, pushing ourselves to greater heights.
Community.
Career.
Competition.
Oh yeah. Reminds me of Toronto Defiant Yekong. Reminiscent of that, of just juggling everyone into the corner there.
Maybe that'll be the game changer here for UW.
Maybe. Oh my goodness! What an angle by Wizard!
Wow. What a shot.
Tonight is our UW Esports Game of the Week, featuring the first match from PAC-U with our UW Esports team against the University of Oregon. Our esports program seek to build and foster community, open doors to the vast career opportunities in the field of gaming, and promote the virtues of healthy competition. Through esports, we are able to communicate with one another, forming and developing digital communities. We hope you enjoy being a part of our community, and we invite you to get more involved. Follow us here or on our UW Esports Discord server, as well as on any social channels at UofWA Esports. Now, to introduce ourselves, I'm Griffin. I'm currently a freshman at the University of Washington, and I'll be one of your casters tonight.
I'm Yvonne, aka Yekong, and I'm currently also a freshman at the University of Washington, and I'll be your other caster for the evening.
I think we're gonna look at a great game today here, folks. We have 2 teams working on a new patch that has just completely shaped the way the game is played, with a lot more focus on the power of ADCs and bot side. What are your takes?
Well, yeah, because of the IE changes and the mana changes for ADC, we're definitely gonna see a lot of ADC powers in the game, and yeah, I'm really excited to see it. Let's get into game 1.
Alright, as we load in here on Summoner's Rift, the first thing we can look at is the team compositions. Over on UW's team, we have a Maokai top lane, Silas jungle, Yone mid, and then a Caitlyn Blitzcrank in the bottom lane, really aggressive. And then over, looking on Oregon's team, we can see that in the top lane, we have an Ornn, a Kindred in the jungle, mid lane Victor, and a bottom lane duo of Jhin and Braum.
Yeah, what do you think about the top lane matchup? Maokai against Ornn?
I think absolutely. This top lane isn't really going to go anywhere without some jungle help. Ornn and Maokai really don't do the type of damage to kill one another, especially Ornn. I think Maokai may have some plays. And we can see that both teams now are actually stacking, looking for the possible invade, especially with the Blitzcrank, who's a great invade champion. But I think this is probably the most action we'll get out of the top side for the early part of the game.
Yeah. Well, Maokai and Ornn's definitely, it's not going to be a lot of actions early, but late game in the team fights, they're both going to be really good killing for their team's carry. Maokai's ult, Ornn's ult is going to be a lot of great CC. And yeah, I'm really excited to see those team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I think team fights this game are going to be phenomenal. And I think that it's really going to depend a large portion of this game on the bot lane. I think we have the Caitlyn and we have the Jhin here. And while both teams do have some other characters, other champions who can step into that carry role, we have the Victor, we have the Kindred, we have the Yone. I think that the bot lane is going to be the place where junglers are going to try to make action happen and where the game might be decided. We can see already that Kindred is actually pathing bot side. So we'll see how effective that pathing is ultimately for Oregon.
Yeah. For this game, Silas is gonna be able to take a lot of great ults. The Ornn ult, CC, and then the Kindred ult is one of the strongest ult in the game. The Victor ult is gonna give him some extra damage, and then the Jhin ult is gonna be very helpful at the right time. Braum ult, more CC.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that Silas is going to have a lot of counterplay potential here using those ultimates. Especially the extra engage could be super helpful. And Ornn plus Maokai ultimate can just be a devastating combo. So it's really going to depend on how Silas wants to play around as kind of more of a diver, an assassin, or someone who's playing more for team fights, which might depend on how the game is going. If we look to the bot lane, we can see that early on, Oregon's getting a push. And Silas is kind of too low on health to make a play unless he believes he can do something here.
We see that Silas is rotating to the bot side. and Kindred is also coming to bot side.
Oh, we might have a little fight here. Oregon Silas goes in, he throws out the ED stuns. Kindred flashes over, the W's coming out. First blood over to Jin. Oregon's trying to run, and Washington's trying to run. They're coming. The stun comes off from the Braum. Oh my god, the fourth shot is almost here. Will Blitzcrank be able to get away? No, it's a double kill over to Jin in a solid lead for Oregon in the first couple minutes of the game. Yeah, that's a really rough situation here. We have Silas coming off of those Krugs without very much health. And the Jin, just the fourth shot power that he has early game, makes it really difficult when combined with the Braum stun. Meaning it's a very easy lead going over to Oregon.
Yeah, now Jin pushes, and then he's gonna recall, and he has a lot of goal advantage now.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier with the bot side game. You can't do a lot top. Mid lane, both players are going to be amazing late game, and Yekong can possibly look for kills starting at 6, but reasonably, the jungles are going to want to play around that aggressive Blitzcrank bot lane. They're going to want to play around this fight that can determine the game based on the ADCs.
Yeah, and now we see that Yvonne is recalling in mid lane, and the wave Victor is probably gonna try to keep the wave towards his side and stop the Yvonne from farming.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Though the wave is not looking great for Victor, actually. It's going to be pushing over towards Yvonne, and Yvonne's going to be in a pretty good situation to sort of do what he wants with the wave, especially still having TP. I think, though it might give Victor prio currently in the situation in order to make a play in the fight that seems to be happening over by UW's jungle.
We see some action here.
This little skirmish going back and forth. We can see Orn going in, the Silas ease away, dashing to the relative safety of his tower. It seems as though there's not going to be a whole lot going down here, as Kindred does manage to get the Gromp. Moncler might be looking for. He goes for the Hex Flash. He flashes in. He runs after the Victor. Does the hook land? He goes in. Yes, Victor's hooked up. The Q from Yekong goes through. He's in his E. Will Victor be able to get away? It looks like he's not taking enough damage. He's going to walk away to the safety of his tower. A good play by Moncler there, but it seems like it just wasn't enough considering the damage just isn't there right now. What do you think about this mid lane situation currently going on?
Well, that Blitzcrank rotate was pretty good, but nothing really happened. And I think Victor played pretty well there. The stun definitely stopped the Blitzcrank from helping Yekong to get a kill.
Yeah, absolutely. I think mid lane's going to be a little more of a slog here, and Yekong goes in for the EQ, but it looks like it's not going to really do a whole lot. What we can look is over on the... Oh, he's going in. The Q goes land, and the E damage does chunk Victor. He might be forced to reset here soon. He does the teleport, however. As well as top lane, we can see Oregon getting a good front end. We look like balling. The fight is Kindred is there. The Blitzcrank runs up. He's out of position. He's rooted by the Jin W, and it's over. Blitzcrank is dead. Silas tries to help out, but it might be too late. Braum goes in, lands the Q, but there is no follow-up, and Jin and Braum are going to be able to push the wave under the tower, picking up another kill.
Now they're heading towards Dragon.
Yeah, it should be a pretty easy dragon over to Oregon. Caitlyn's kind of trapped in the tower if Jin can push this wave in. However, Caitlyn does have a much stronger pushing power right now, but can't really afford to extend. Mid lane, we can see Victor's pretty low on mana. It might be a dangerous situation considering Yekong is 6, but he used his R already, meaning that there is not a whole lot of kill potential there. But he won't likely be able to rotate to any sort of dragon fight, so it seems that Oregon is going to back off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yekong's TPing mid.
Yeah, Yekong wants to get back into the action. This dragon fight is a big thing, especially if we look at where the mark is for Kindred on that scuttle. It seems like it's not going to be really contested. The ultimate from Victor dropped out. He goes for the Q. The E move speed is not going to let him catch up. The Victor R is going to help clear the wave and delay Yekong from pushing it in, who seems to be instead wanting to freeze the wave right now.
Looks like Kindred is passing towards mid.
We found that Kindred does have the Yekong marked right now, meaning that maybe she wants to make some sort of play towards the mid lane, especially with the Yekong R coming up, though, and Flash being available for Yekong. I could totally see some outplay potential there, possibly getting a double kill if Kindred doesn't hit 6 before going for any sort of gank.
Definitely. We see that Yekong is going in again, and Kindred is heading towards Yekong. And Yekong is back, and Kindred is now heading towards her top jungle.
I think ultimately actually this bot lane matchup's gonna hit a really interesting point super soon. We looked at the Blitzcrank Caitlyn. If you don't land a hook with Blitzcrank Caitlyn, there's no real way to ensure that like Jhin is going to step in a trap. But if we're seeing that, we can just see that Braum and Jhin just sort of stack check them. Ultimately, especially with the lead currently that Jhin has over Caitlyn, it's going to be really difficult. And let's look at the gold lead overall. And a 2K gold lead at less than 8 minutes into the game could be a death sentence if UW isn't going to try to find a way to make play around their bot lane, make play for these dragons, or do something about the kind of stalemate that's in both the top and middle part of the game.
It's definitely going to be rough for the University of Washington right now.
Like gold lead just extending as all the players are just CSing content. We can see that right now Yone does have a pretty sizable mid lane CS lead, and top lane the CS is pretty equal. He's going on the Victor, the stun drops, Yone gets stunned but ease backwards. A nice little trade, putting Victor in the line of fire, and Maokai gets killed, the top lane gank by the Kindred, putting the University of Oregon even further into the lead. Situation, it looks like Herald is going to fall, unless Yone is able to make something happen. But considering that Braum rotated up the Herald, it's going to be difficult. However, UW is going to trade back for the Dragon. That Braum roam really did cost them an objective because it's making it be a trade 1-for-1 when that gank could have easily made it be a free Herald for Oregon. So what do you think UW needs to do to get back into this game? What sort of play can they make given their current situation?
So I think they definitely need to have some action in bot lane. With with the they need a Yone rotate, and then with a Blitzcrank hook, and maybe a follow up by Caitlyn's trap, and then follow up with Silas rotate or Yone rotate. They're gonna get a lot of CC on them, and if they can just get some action in bot lane, they're probably gonna get back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really going to depend on whether or not Braum is actually able to defend Jhin very well. Well, he is a very... the hook comes out! It's going to be... Victor R comes out, but it's not enough. And Montclair's roam gets UW some playback, giving Yone a mid lane lead. And bot lane, however, Jhin is going to get the kill using the force shot, going on a killing spree against Caitlyn. We can see this game is really breaking down into a couple of distinct sections of the map. Top lane still kind of being a back and forth slog. Bot lane is kind of decisively going over towards the side of the University of Oregon. However, if you look to the mid lane, a 24 CS lead and a kill advantage over the Victor, this Yone could run away with the game if they don't find a way to check it. It looks like some bot plates are going to be falling. This is solid gold, though, split 3 ways, which does mean the gold falls less onto the Jhin Kindred, who are the hyper carries that Oregon needs to feed.
See that they placed the Herald bot, and it's gonna help finish off the turret.
Yeah, there should be a first tower, widening the gold lead even further between Oregon and UW. Now we're looking at an almost 4K gold lead, which is ridiculous, and it's really important to see how Oregon's going to use this gold lead to further press their advantage. Bot side, they go in with the sweeper, looking into UW's jungle. Kindred's really exciting. It looks like they're going for the Yone with the Blitzcrank. Kindred's hiding behind the tower. The root goes out on Yone. The trap falls down. The Victor stun doesn't really manage to do anything. It looks like Yone's going to be completely fine. There's no real dive potential here. And then meanwhile, Caitlyn's just pushing bot lane, getting plates.
And we see that Victor is rotating bot, and Caitlyn's backing up here.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little switch here with Jhin and their lead taking it now to the mid lane. This is a very common tactic used, considering when the bot lane tower falls, to have the mid lane swap with the bot lane. But the Yone goes in, the Braum blocks it, the stun almost goes through, but Yone manages to E back in time. Oh, the flash Q! The ultimate comes out! Jhin gets Q! Go EV combo! He managed to far away, the Q kills the Jhin! It's a shutdown! Braum's gonna fall too, he gets stunned, not quite under tower, and he manages to dash away to the minions. Completely safe to live another day. What a play by Yone, understanding the power of his champion and flashing ultimately in on the 2v1, on the 3-0 Jhin, knowing when he's powerful and when he can win those fights.
That was a beautiful play by Pasco.
it's really about understanding his champions, and these players really know what their champions can do, what the limits are of how far they can go, and that's really gonna put a win con in my mind over to UW. They have that win con in Pashko, in their mid lane. They have that win con in that Fed Yone, in that right now we can see a 30 CS gap mid lane. How is UW gonna be able to play around it? I think that's the question that's gonna decide this game.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, we can see he already completed his massive power spike, having both his Berserker Greaves and Shield Bow. Means that he's doing a lot of damage. Yeah, you can see a Blitzcrank Kindred still playing around bot side, possibly looking to make a play for that dragon when it does spawn. Blitzcrank is resetting, seemingly preparing for this inevitable dragon fight that is going to come up, though not for a little while. Looks like red side has a pretty dominant control of vision currently, meaning that it's going to be hard for UW to really make a play unless they find a way to contest that.
Griffin, what do you think is the best ult for Silas to take this game?
Well, I think this game there's going to be a lot of options. I think right now in this situation, what he really needs to do in order to have any chance is to support the Yone. And what's going to support the Yone is either the Brahmar or the Maokai. And it looks like right now he's going to take the R&R. He's going to go in. It's a dive. Maokai flashes. Gets the kill. But he falls quickly to the bird from the red buff. Silas tries to go for the plate and takes a couple of tower shots but manages to dash away. That is big. Silas might be able to take down top tower, but he's not very quick at taking towers, especially when Dragon's coming up. And it looks like Oregon's going to be perfectly happy just to rotate over to Dragon and take it.
This is going to be a free dragon for Oregon.
Yeah. It's not really a whole lot the Fed Yone can do. He's being confined to kind of hold the bottom lane, which he kind of needs to against the Victor. But it means he's not really being allowed to use his power. They might also be waiting for him to get his real power spike, which is after he gets that Infinity Edge, after he gets that power to really do a lot of damage and one-shot the Fed Jhin currently on Oregon's team. Because without that, with Jhin in the game, firing his shots, protected by Braum, I don't know how UW can win a team fight. Looks like top lane's still going to be sort of a trudge. Neither tower has fallen. However, Oregon's tower is pretty close to falling, which will open up the map a little bit. But ultimately, it's not going to do a whole lot towards the way the game has been shaping up right now. See the Braum rotating topside? Looks like there's a little fight going on, but Oregon will probably be able to walk away completely unscathed. Maokai does not have the damage right now with his build. Looks like UW getting Vision, fighting for the Herald. That Herald could be pretty big if taken down. It is a second Herald, so not quite as impactful without the presence of plates, but it could possibly allow for push on the top side, opening up the map a little, and possibly allowing Yone to sort of split push up there, as Maokai starts transitioning over to more of a team firewall. What are your thoughts? What do you think this Herald will be used for?
Well, I think that they can try to find a team fight in mid lane or bot lane, and then after that, if they can possibly get some takedowns, they can use the Herald. But it's past 14 minutes, so they won't be able to get any plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can notice that the gold gap right now is actually significantly decreased. Not only about a 1k gold difference now between the Oregon and UW. And with them right now, Kindred did sort of want to make a play for the mark. However, that mark is clearly gone. Very difficult for Oregon to get with the current vision and support that they have. However, right now she's trying to rectify that, placing a control ward in UW's jungle. Yone really does sort of have a dominant control over the bot lane right now, as it's really difficult to contest the Yone who has this sort of strength right now.
On the top side, we see that Orin is pushing a little bit.
Yeah, Orin is going to keep farming up. I think Orin is going to try to maybe get some damage into this tower. But primarily, Orin is trying to give those items over to the Jhin, over to the Victor, over to the Kindred. Those like special powered up items are going to be massive for the late game team fights, and it's the ultimate late game power over to Oregon. And I think ultimately when you look at two teams, these two teams both have some late game powerhouses, but it's really hard not to give the late game over to Oregon when they have the power of the Oregon, the team fight power of the Victor, and then just the raw damage that Kindred with a ton of marks can put out. Right now we can see UW is fighting back. They're putting on a good push with the Herald mid lane, and they're going to drop that mid tower, which is going to significantly open up the map and give them some new avenues towards really making some plays.
So that they're not that behind in gold anymore. Only a 0.2k difference.
Yeah, it's actually insane. The goal difference is completely wide, and it hasn't been through a spectacular play. And this is what's really important to note, especially for people who are newer to League, is that you don't need a big, massive team fight. You don't need a 1v5 in order to close that goal difference. You simply need to farm well and get ahead of the enemy team. Right now we can see Maokai is fighting with Orin and Braum. The ultimate comes out from Braum, slowing the Maokai a lot, but Maokai has too much health, and they just don't do enough damage. So UW's top lane is going to walk away scot-free. Yeah, so how do you think this next dragon fight is going to go, considering now the power of the Yone, in fact, the goal difference is completely closed? The Orange ult goes out, Blitzcrank is knocked up, the Maokai ultimate comes out, there's a TP coming in, Braum flashes away, manages to get away with his health, the Victor R, Jin is almost in, the Yone goes in with the E, the damage is insane, the Kindred R drops, he's completely gone now, the ultimate hits, it's 3, the Orange ult tries to come out by the Stylus, under their tower, but Yone gets stunned, and oh my god, Victor is going to walk away from here, and the silence makes it happen. The Q comes in, kills the Victor, and it's looking like a complete teamfight win over to UW, taking down all 5 members of Oregon, and with a devastating push in the mid lane, leading to the drop of yet another mid tower.
And now they can secure Dragon after the team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So why do you think that fight went so well for UW? Why is the goal difference now 2k in their favor?
Well, we had the University of Washington had a really strong Yone, and then the Silas was able to take a good ult, and then we can get a lot of we got a lot of good CC on them, and that was a beautiful play by them.
Yeah, there wasn't any way to basically save the Jin, have the Jin and have the Kindred really do that damage. The Kindred all just didn't cut it. They were too uncoordinated. And if we look at right now at Yone's items, Yone just has an incredible amount of power. He's so close to the IE. He did not have the IE that fight. When he goes back, he's going to have it. And that is the single biggest power spike for Yone in the game. So when I see the team, I see the 4-1 Stylus, and I see the power that presents. That's not what I'm scared of as Oregon. I am scared of the Yone that's about to have 2 items. The Yone that is about to hit a single R on the Jin, and the Jin instantly dies. And I think there's a lot of pressure right now riding on the Kindred, riding on the Braum to keep their carries alive, because they do have the tools to do that. And the question is, are they going to be able to in these upcoming fights? Especially now that Barrett is on the field.
So in this new patch, we see that the IE got changed, and we only need 40% of crit for IE to work. What do you think about first item, IES first item on Yone?
I think Yone's a very interesting champion, and I think that first item IE is oftentimes very strong on ADCs, or at least it was in the past, because of just the raw damage output that you get. However, the thing is, Yone is a champion who doesn't get all this damage from who doesn't get all of this damage from their attack damage, from their attack speed. That's what's really important. And look, mid, UW is just going in, completely destroying Oregon. Going under their tower, the Jin W comes out, misses the Maokai, and the plant is actually healing Maokai up an incredible amount. The Oregon gets stunned under his tower, and Caitlin's walking him down, doing incredible damage. Really, to be able to finish off the kill. It doesn't look like it. The Blitzcrank is running after him, knocks him up. He goes unstoppable, but Yone finishes off the kill into another devastating team fight in favor of UW. Yeah, but as I was saying, I think IE on Yone really skips out on a lot of the important parts of having shield low first, which is that extra attack speed, that extra attack damage that you do get, and then also the survivability. Because if you just go IE right away on Yone, you are still an extremely squishy champion with very little defense, and you will end up getting blown up a lot of the time. And I think while IE is a super strong power spike, it really relies on a lot of the aspects of shield low, the attack speed, the survivability, to make it function as powerful as it is. Which is why I think we can see that Yone in this game went shield build first and then transitioned into the IE.
You see that Caitlyn is building IE second.
Yeah, I think Caitlyn is one of the characters who has some of the highest AD scaling in the game. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talking about this. It's ridiculous. A lot of people going rapid fire cannon second on Caitlyn. You are just missing out on this incredible amount of damage that you could be outputting. I think that's exactly why the IE changes are actually incredibly helpful. The teleport's going in, the Blitzcrank hooks the Braum. The other teleport is coming out into the mid lane. It looks like the Maokai ult is coming out. It's going to go in. The E, the Q, completely obliterating Oregon's life. Besides, Caitlyn is playing back. The Yokes hits. Doesn't seem to do anything. The Kindred breaks down. Another devastating team fight win over to UW. The Silas makes it. The Caitlyn flash comes out. The slow means that victory is not going to get away. And UW wins a 5-4-2 team fight with Silas getting the quadruple kill to potentially end the game. Wow. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be nothing that Oregon can do as UW manages to take this game. The Caitlyn damage really taking these towers down quickly, and death timers are just too long. That Yone R just wasn't really stopped by the Kindred R. And Braum goes in, tries to make some counterplay, but the carries aren't coming up. It's really just Orange. Braum dashes in. Is Caitlyn going to be able to damage? The flash comes out. Oh my god, Caitlyn is taking some damage and forced to run away. The Jet Lord comes out. Caitlyn is sidestepping, but it doesn't look like Caitlyn wants to heal, tries to run away. No one has the mobility to really get to them, but the Kindred gets the kill and gets the shutdown. That's a lot of gold going over to Oregon.
I think the UofWaesports will try to finish this game now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was definitely over in favor of UW until the Nexus is now open, but it looks like now Oregon might be able to play for the Baron. The bot lane and the jungler are not coming up for a very long period of time, so I think that this objective bounty plus the Baron is just going to have to go over to Oregon. There's going to be some sort of crazy play by the Yone, and Yone is the type of champion who can do that, but when we look at a situation like this, it's ridiculous considering the amount of CC over on Oregon's side of the field. And Baron's gonna make it very difficult for UW to make any sort of push. The goal difference is really not that large, only 1.2k in favor of UW, meaning that there is gonna be a lot of stuff that Oregon can do. The question is, can they fight for this dragon? And I don't think so. I think that UW is gonna be able to take this and get on the Soul Point, which is once again another win con, not even counting the completely open Nexus. What do you think Oregon's path to victory in this game is?
It's hard to say. Well, I think UW is still having a lead right now, but now that they have Baron, they can try to push. What do you think UW needs to win this?
Oh, see, the Braum guard goes out. The Maokai is completely stunned, locked up by CC. Dashes off, but it's going to fall to the Kindred. That is a big kill. That means with the Baron, Oregon is going to have the power to really go in mid lane. And without UW having the engaged power of the Maokai, it's going to be incredibly difficult to find a fight unless a lucky Blitzcrank hook hits. Yeah, and I think that ultimately what really needs to happen is picks like that. Like, games can swap around so quickly right now if Maokai is just going to be getting killed randomly. This engage is essential player on the UW team is just going to fall. And we can look now that the map is completely opened up for Oregon. They just got multiple towers. That's a lot of gold. In fact, look, now it's equal gold in the field, meaning that right now, UW's not really going to have that much of advantage coming into these 5v5 fights. They're still going to have to win another team fight simply by having better positioning, having better ultimates, and they aren't going to get it for just having a Fed Young.
Yeah, no objectives are gonna be up in a while, and we see that Maokai and Yone is pushing top and bot.
Yeah, right now, I think UW is just playing this slow. They don't want to have a situation where they go in, they die, and that could lead to a massive counter push. They want to play this smart, and you'll notice a lot in like lower elo games, people just go in for the Nexus, just trying to figure out a way to like rush in, end the game, but that's not going to be effective. It's going to lead the picks over to the side of Oregon, and a possible chance for comeback. And if we notice that right now, what UW's doing is they're just taking the jungle camps. They're taking the waves. They're taking the gold. They're like, hey, if you want to get as much gold as we are, you're going to have to leave your base. You're going to have to come out here. You're going to have to fight us on our terms. And what UW is saying is that we're going to do better overall in the long run if you just let us. But the Orin ultimate is coming out. Maokai seems to be caught again, but he flashes away. The Jin W comes in, rooting him. The Maokai R is going to come out, and Oregon is going to back up. Wow. And now it looks like UW is just walking straight into their base. What can Oregon do? Caitlyn is attacking the Nexus. They're on the Nexus. The ultimate from Griffin comes out, but it's not a mistake. That means Caitlyn can't die. And Caitlyn attacks the Nexus alive because of the ultimate by Kindred. Win for UW. Oh, what an incredible game.
What a beautiful comeback by UW.
Yeah, so tell me what you thought about that game. Like, did you think that UW was going to have that counterplay in the first couple minutes?
Well, yeah, in the first couple minutes, it looks like U of Oregon had a big lead, but we also saw that Yekong was getting a lot of gold in the mid lane, having a CS lead and a kill lead.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we saw just how UW was able to turn that game around because they played around their strengths and because of the way that Yekong really understood his champion. And as we go into the next game, we're going to have to look at the same thing. The bot lane has the power. The bot lane with the new item buffs is going to be able to make an impact on the game. And as we can see, UW's bot lane did, but only if their other lanes and their jungler are going to support them and not allow them to, say, get 1v2 flashed on by the mid lane. So I think we should hop right into the next game and look at how Oregon might respond to UW's crushing win in the first one. All right, so what are your thoughts on the team comps in this one round?
Well, we see a Sylas support this game. Yeah, Sylas support, he can land some CC with his E, and then he's gonna be able to grab some, yeah, the ultimate he can grab this game is also pretty good.
Yeah, I think that Sylas is really gonna have some interesting utility ultimates here. I think right now we can know Sylas doesn't have that kind of game-winning, fight-winning ultimate. They have the Zac R, they have the Kindred R, which can be used. They have that engage, that potential. But Sylas doesn't have something like the Orin or Orin ultimate, which can just kind of like win a team fight. You can see that right now there's a little invade going on by UW. UW seems to be looking to get a pick here. I think they're going to reset though and pull back before they can make anything happen.
Minions have spawned.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to sort of look at this mid lane, bottom lane dynamic because we have two mid laners who have these roaming ultimates. They have the Fleer ultimate. They have the Galio R, the ability to make these plays. So I think we're going to see some fascinating fights in the bot lane. And I think that getting the bot lane ahead is going to be, once again, very essential to this game. And I think we can see this as see the Lee Sin that's going to be pathing bot side and is going to be doing whatever they can to make it impact early on. Because a Samira that gets fed, especially in this game, could really do a lot.
Yeah, both of the ADC scales really well, and with these roaming, with both teams having the roaming mid laners, we're gonna see a lot of actions bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And then once again, it's the same situation top lane. Like, how do you get a kill? Without jungle help, you're Zac versus Maokai. Unless someone missteps, it's going to just be a back and forth. I have more health than you can do damage, and you have more health than I can do damage. So they really have no other choice but to play around their bot lane. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Kindred is going to try to path here, where they're going to try to make an impact. Are they going to go for the bot lane? Or are they going to just go top lane and see if they can get a full clear?
Griffin, what do you think about the Galio and Talia matchup?
I mean, I think ultimately that matchup is not going to go anywhere. I think it's very similar to the top lane matchup. It's more of you're playing for your team. I mean, yes, Talia has that damage, has that burst damage that normally appears sort of later in the game. And as well, Galio keeps surprised. Oh my god, bot lane, we can see a fight's coming down. Samira is almost going to kill on Caitlyn. Caitlyn's going to fall. Samira gets the first blood. It looks like Fun Phoenix is going to fall as well. Slowed by the red buff. The Lee Sin Q comes in, and the Skyfall for me is going to get the kill. An easy 2-0 lead early in the game. Falling over to UW. Wow, that is really massive. And when we can see the impact of what Lee Sin did. You can see Lee Sin took one camp, his red, tapped over to blue, took Romp, and is wet for this game. And honestly, Oregon just wasn't expecting or ready for that. And that early lead is gonna mean a lot, because we saw what UW was able to do with the strong roaming mid laner in the strong power mid lane without having a lead bot. So now what they're gonna be able to do with that lead is gonna be up to be seen, but I think could be a lot. Yeah, so what do you think Kindred can do against a strong dueling jungler like Lee Sin in order to get back into the game and maybe fight for these marks? We can see right now a fight might be coming up.
Well, oh, we see some action here.
Lee's gonna drop the ghost and just run away with the Q. The Kindred's gonna Q over the wall. Lee Sin's gonna go away fine. The Fun Phoenix is gonna come in, try to land the Q, but simply back off as nothing seems to be there right now. Good macro play by both teams. It seems as though there are too many people roaming and moving around to make anything happen. And Talia is currently, we can see right now, out of pot. So it might be a little bit difficult for them to stay in lane against this Galio, who has a lot more sustain right now and could possibly go for something. This is really a massive push bot side, and Caitlyn just loves doing this. Caitlyn loves pushing someone under tower, placing those traps, making it hard for the counterplay. But they have to be scared. They have to be scared of the Lee Sin. They have to respect it, and that's why we can see them backing off here, maybe looking to get Vision on Dragon, because they can't really do anything if they don't know where Lee Sin is, even though he's backing right now.
We do see that Kindred is in the mid bush, and oh, maybe the Zac will be able to get us.
Zac manages to go. Kindred is staying there. Maokai does not know this. The mark is coming down on the Maokai. The Q is going to come out, but isn't going to be enough. It looks like Maokai might be able to walk away. That's high health and healing and tankiness. The top catch is going to go in, almost knock up Samira, but Samira gets away. I mean, there's not going to be another kill, or a kill going over here. And now we can look like Kindred reset, gonna be pathing bot side, but Lee Sin's looking towards the bot side already, near Dragon. Possibly looking for something, a dive bot lane perhaps, but Kindred and it looks like Galio are gonna be there. Galio being level 6 now means that he has the ultimate and he has the roaming potential.
See that the blue team is collapsing towards Lee Sin.
Absolutely, looks like there's a fight that might be going on bot lane. But Lee Sin dashes over to the Dragon knocks him away, he seems to be fine. Fun Phoenix is going to be rotating. The Skyfalls might try to take the plant, trying to get some help to get back into this fight. Montclair slays Fun Phoenix, taking down the Tom Kench. But then that's going to be really difficult if Oregon wants to contest against this UW Dragon. But it seems as though Lee Sin's not going to go for it. Instead, opting to possibly make a play mid or possibly deny Kindred that mark, which is really essential because Kindred does not have the power these other carries are going to have without her marks, or her ability to really get those like increased damages, increased special effects of her abilities that she gets when just taking down a simple scuttle crab. And already Lee Sin is denying that from her, meaning that the jungle gap this game could be huge.
We see that in bot lane, University of Oregon is currently have Prio, and do you think they're gonna head for the Dragon soon?
I mean, I think playing for Dragons is a possible play, but we can look right now. Like, let's look at Caitlyn. Caitlyn's low mana, just hit 6. Fun Phoenix is still 4. Yeah, and Caitlyn needs to back here. They need to reset, shove the wave in. Right now is not the time to play for Dragon. I mean, there's still a 2k gold lead over to UW. Right now, there's nothing Oregon wants more than not to have the red buff reset and to be able to farm, be able to make progress, close this game, because they have some real late game powerhouses if they're able to push there. They have the Zac, they have the Galio for that wombo combo, and they have the strong damage. Right now we can see the Tomcat is going to go in, the Ghost drops into Leah, the flash away, dodging the Galio dash. Leah's going to get away and live another day. But the question is, are they going to be able to press that advantage before this late game powerhouse of a team that is Oregon comes back? What do you think?
Oh, so I'm still relatively new to League of Legends. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so Kindred is a kind of complicated jungle to understand, and you were asking me about how I think about what I think about Kindred and Lee Sin. So what are these junglers what are their strengths and weaknesses?
That's a great question. Really important, I think, when ultimately understanding the complete dynamic that's played on in this game, is that Kindred is a champion who can be, at her best, a very mobile, high damage, kind of ADC-like champion, who combines the survivability of kind of a less like ADC-focused jungler with the Q, with the ultimate, with the high output damage. But the thing is, Kindred does sort of have a weak early game and is kind of squishy and very reliant on getting these marks. As we can see, right now, Lee Sin is actually showing their power, the early game power, being able to take dragons, take fights, going Wing in, and it looks like Oregon is going to have to run away. They get caught in the trap. The Q comes out from Caitlyn, finishing off Lee Sin, and UW bot lane is going to be forced to retreat. Yeah, I think that was a really good fight, actually, by Oregon. As much as UW did get the dragon, they managed to kind of get a little counterplay and fight back because the Lee Sin really overextended. And it is totally fair, because Lee Sin is that kind of early game, high gank, high mobility jungler that can always make a play. But I think it's very important there for Lee Sin to not overextend, understanding the power of the Caitlyn traps, the CC that Oregon has to offer right now on this team. So I think ultimately, right now, we can actually look at this really important fight to illustrate Kindred. Kindred needs this mark. Kindred needs to be able to get this mark. Kindred is going to fall so far behind in this game. The Galio ultimate comes out. The Kindred gets kicked away, drops the ultimate just in time. He's finished off. He's going to do good damage on Talia. It seems like Talia is alone, isolated. Kindred gets the kill. That is massive. He's top of the Maokai is coming out. Zac is going to drop into his passive before flops. Does Maokai have the damage with his low mana in order to actually make a play? And yes, he does, killing the Zac in a solo bolo kill. At the same time, Kindred is going to go for the Herald after getting the mark, as bot lane, Caitlyn is sort of zoned away from her own tower. That was an incredible tournament all around the map there.
How do you think the solo support is going?
I mean, I think we can look right now, and I mean, the numbers don't really lie. We can see that Silas really is making that impact, is getting, not the vision that they need, however. I mean, we can see that Silas has currently a 3 vision score. And now one of the key things about being a strong support is having that ability to, like, give your team the essential information they have. Look to Tom Kench. Look to Fun Phoenix, who has that 14 vision, and who has died 3 times, largely due to just the situation, is that Tom Kench is the fall guy, the slow frontline bruiser of this whole bot lane fight that keeps getting picked off. And I think that right now, we can look at the Silas support is sort of being played almost more like another carry, who's there because of the power that Silas presents as a champion, and not to like fulfill any niche role. So I think the Silent support is going to be very effective this game, but I think I'd caution against anyone picking it in the ranked games. The Zac comes in, who's going to Lee Sin, W's in. We can see the Galio almost falls, manages to flash away. Zac is pretty tanky, not falling very quickly, doing strong damage to Skyfall's enemy. The Talia knocks him away. Oh my god, the Q comes in, Lee Sin gets the kill, the root on Galio, and that's a double kill over to Lee Sin, and a massive gold lead going over to UW. What do you think of that fight, Lynn? It's the fight that just happened mid lane.
That was beautiful. Lee Sin was really low, and then
Nope, just a free kill over to Kindred there. That's a lot of power. The Samira is going to be knocked under, devoured, driven under tower, flashes away, the Ignite falls down. The tower shot's going to finish off the Silent support, but the ultimate goes for Samira, doesn't quite finish her off, meaning that it is going to be a 1-0 over in the favor of Oregon.
It's been it was a lot of action in the past 2 minutes. We see that UW is still having a 2.4k go lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you guys get the life steal, the power of that shield bow, getting Samir up to a health that they can maybe stay around, maybe try to make a play. But it is very risky. We can see the Galio's roaming down, and with Lee Sin there, I don't know what UW thinks they're going to be able to do here, considering just like the influence that Oregon's kind of having over the bottom side of the map right now. It does look like Kaylin reset, however. Sphera is going to be able to push in another wave and probably come back very powerful. Oh, the top lane matchup is getting pretty intense. And yeah, it's the solo kill over to Maokai. An easy kill, giving like the solid lead over to UW in the top lane. Like that lane is supposed to be. I mean, it has to be in order for Oregon to like survive this game. A lane where just nothing happens, where you can just ignore it. But that's not what's happening. Maokai is getting that lead, getting that pressure, and is gonna make it just a nuisance for anyone to deal with. Because Maokai just does an incredible amount of damage. He's tanky, he's unkillable, but he also can just decimate the backline, the squishy, under-leveled backline that exists over at Oregon's team. And with him just getting the first tower, being up over like 25 CS and 2 kills, it seems as though there's really no competition to who's going to have the better front line in this game. Do you agree? And so what do you think about this this Kindred pick happening again, considering how it like fared last game? Do you think Kindred is at all being kind of an issue for Oregon's team? Or oh, the fight's going on. Kindred gets hit by the Maokai root. He just tried to walk away. The ultimate's going to come out, but Lee Sin dashes in. The Galio Ori is going to come out. This could be big, but walking out of her ultimate, Samira's going to get a massive kill. The ultimate is going to be dropped down, giving it a double kill, but Tom catches E over the wall, meaning another kill is going to fall over to UW. And absolutely crushing team fight that leads to a dragon for the University of Washington and a 4-for-0 trade. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, Samiro's 4-0 now. Like, how do you think how do you think Oregon can actually counter like the power of this like bad ADC that just hyperscales?
They definitely have to pick on her. Oregon does have the CC they need. Their Tom Kench can engage, and then they can follow up with either Caitlyn Trap or the Galio ult. And Zach can also get a lot of CC on her. Ooh, you see that?
Yeah, I mean absolutely. She has to be CC'd. And it's going to be difficult because in order to CC Samira, you need to get right in the middle. She needs to be in the middle of your team. Everyone needs to dive on her. And then the problem is going to come to then what happens if Samira isn't one shot, if that shield bow triggers and Samira can get the ultimate out, and that is just going to decimate the lines over on Oregon, because that Caitlyn, that Galio, the Tom Kench even, the tanks, the frontlines who are supposed to be able to survive Samira's damage, they're going to be decimated quickly by a Samira this fat. Oh, there's a fight going on here. Samir's gonna go in. He's gonna get the kill. The ultimate's coming out. Kindred's gonna kind of win. It's gonna be 4 players over on the blue team. The TP came out. Haunted Samir's gonna fall down the CC lock. Like you said, it's gonna happen. Giving the shutdown over to Kindred, making Kindred possibly have enough gold to get back into this game. And if we look right now at the teams, we can see that, well, basically everyone over at Oregon's side can do nothing, has no power. The Kindred here is 5-1, and Kindred is a hyper carry champion. The problem is, how do you protect the Kindred this game? How do you stop the Lee Sin, the Samira, the Maokai from just diving on to Kindred and killing her? Or do you think that's something that Oregon's going to be able to do? Something that Oregon's going to be able to really protect and heal for?
It's gonna be rough.
Fun Phoenix is getting caught out once again. We can see, well, the Galio is going to try to come in with the Q, but the ultimate stolen from Fun Phoenix himself. It's going to be a big deal. There's a big fight going on. The Maokai ultimate is going to come down, booting the Kindred. The Kindred super fed is being pushed away from the fight. The Zac passive is going to trick the Lee Sin, and the Gore Trigger is going to come out, shutting down, or not shutting down, slaying Kindred. And this is looking like a dominating fight for UW until we can see the Caitlyn comes in, the Galio Orb comes in, knocking a Maokai. But Samira here is big, and Samira's at full health comes in. Oh my god, instantly kills most of Oregon's team, and it's gonna happen to be a Yeah, 5-for-2, leading to an ace in favor of UW and possibly a Rift Herald if they go for it. But they might just instead go to push these waves and get the CS advantage, get the tower advantage, and just kind of suffocate Oregon out of the game.
Yeah, we see that UW is having almost 8k lead in gold now.
Yeah, that is like a massive lead. And when we look at the champions that's on, like look how much gold is on this Samira. The amount of power that Samira is going to hold this game with these champions is just ridiculous. If this Leah's getting caught out, they kind of does W cause, knocks up Talia. Talia is going to hold the Kindred, and Samira's a little bit out of position with the Maokai's here to sort of back her up. Knocks away the Galio, and it looks like blue team, despite kind of being forced to it, the flash comes in Samira, the Kindred on comes in, keeping them alive. The Gallic comes in to the tower. Samira is not gonna fall until Caitlyn kills him. And right now the big bodies of UW are still up. Galio comes and tries to damage Caitlyn. The Widow Blade is Maokai, but he's just doing nothing. He's practically healing him. The Arc comes in but does not hurt Caitlyn. But as the Galio falls, what is Caitlyn supposed to do against Lee Sin, a Silence, and a Maokai? Surrounding in tower, Silence Sun comes in, knocking down Caitlyn and giving an ace over to UW. What a fight! Caitlyn just didn't have the damage there to make anything happen. Didn't have the damage to kill the tanks. If Caitlyn was there and is able to be hammering away, unbothered, the last person killed in the fight, but had the damage, had the lead, I think that could have been a completely different story.
Yeah, the you have Oregon is 9k go behind. How do you think they're gonna get back into the game now?
I think it's gonna be pretty difficult. I think you have almost all of your gold right now sitting on two AD carries who are both just unable to survive what UW is going to do. You have your gold on champions that aren't going to be able to help you, and you really don't have any other champions that are going to be able to do anything. When your front line is this weak, when you have an 07 support, when you have both a mid laner and top laner who are like 1-7 and 1-5 and 1-4, it doesn't matter how strong your backline is because there's no way to keep you alive. You can be very fed as an ADC, but when Maokai just dashes onto you and no one can get him off you because they instantly die to Samira, what do you do? I think it's going to take an incredible misplay by UW here, like allowing themselves to get picked, allowing this Kindred to really function in order to make this game at all winnable for Oregon. The only interesting thing for me is that UW's not actually playing for the Baron. Possibly they want to set up and push in more waves before they go for it. But right now there's a Baron open, and given the current situation, it seems like there's really nothing that Oregon would be able to do against it. What do you think? Do you think that UW should rotate to the Baron, or is this taking the Dragon and putting pressure bot lane enough?
Well, I think they should head for Baron after they put some pressure here, and then after Lee Sin take the Dragon, it's going to be Still Point, and
yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, do you think there's any way for Oregon to contest this Baron fight, or do they just have to give it up and hope they can hold against the siege?
I think they have to give up. They also have to deal with the waves pushing into their turrets.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The top tower is gonna fall. We'll see if UW sends someone top. Looks like the ultimate comes out. Talia almost dies. The Q comes in from Lee Sin. The Zac aura is gonna drop down, but Zac is getting permanent. You see the Galio aura is coming in, and that's a kill over for Samir. The Silence is gonna dash in, get in on the back, and that's a kill for the Fed Kindred. There's basically no counterplay left for Oregon. The dash comes in. The entire UW team is going under tower. Samir is there, drops the ultimate, doing crazy damage to the entire Oregon team. That's a triple kill for Samira, ending the game. Well, it looks like instead UW is simply going to back off and go for that Baron.
You think they'll be able to finish the game after the Baron?
I think it's going to take another team fight, because we can look actually, yeah, it's not ending the game, because the waves just aren't there. They just don't have it. But, I mean, I think there's no way for UW to really fumble up after this Baron. If they split up, they get the top tower, they suffocate Oregon. But if they just team up, I think they're so far in the lead with such, like, strong front line that there's really no way for Oregon to contest just a straight up 5v5, whether it's under tower, under Nexus towers, just kind of dove in. And we can look at the fact that Samira almost has her flash up again. And, well, Caitlyn does have flash, and well, Kindred also is going to have flash, the carries over on Oregon's team. What do you do against Samira, who has 12 kills flashing into your team? What do you do against a 14k goal lead here? Maokai's looking for a pick here. Throwing out his little guys into the bush. He goes in, roots to Tom Kench, who just really isn't taking all that much damage. Talia's trying to stay back, trying not to get picked. Still waiting on some of the carries over on UW's side. Tom Kench goes in. Do you like this fight by Oregon? Do you want to try to fight Maokai? Maokai drops the ultimate. Look at that damage that's coming out. Maokai's burn is just running through the front line. Goes in, Silas goes in, drops everything to Zach, dodges the Kindred ultimate, comes out. Silas is not dying, leaving them invulnerable. Kindred is still alive, however, so on the carry. Samira ultimate comes out. Back to reset, gets a quadra kill, ending the game, giving a massive push over to UW. How do you deal with that power? It doesn't even need to use the flash. Do not give Samira this many kills in your game.
Yeah, it looks like they'll be able to end here.
I know, what a game. I mean, we can just see that this was I think to me very similar to last game, except for we just saw that like complete domination from the get-go, from the very start, where since UW won the bot lane and didn't have to fight back there, they were just able to feed their carries and able to just dominate this game from every stage of the process. Wow, so UW takes the series 2-0. Fascinating, right? And if we look there, we look at some common themes that we have in the game. We have these tanky top lanes. We have this Kindred jungle come out twice in a row. What do you think Oregon could have done differently in this game? Do you think they needed to go for sort of a more flashy top lane, play around topside, and not let UW kind of use their like powerful bot laners?
Yeah, I think it's either that or like they need to have better peel for the Kindred, which did a pretty good job last game. She had a good lead, but wasn't able to use that lead well because no one was able to peel for her.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like we can just look at the front line of that game fell like they were the back line, and then that's really the issue of this game is that when you have such a dominating gold lead, you can't see a comeback really happening like that. So I think ultimately Oregon played their heart out. They did what they could, but you just have to respect UW's strong macro, their ability to make use of these kind of 4v4 situations, make use of their strong players and their early power. Yeah, so I think it was ultimately a very exciting watch. I mean, congrats to the University of Washington. Thank you so much for joining us on our University of Washington Twitch channel tonight and spending time with our production crew, players, and talent. Remember to check us out at UW Esports on most platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and join the Discord if you are interested in volunteering behind the scenes. Have a great night.
Have a great night.